anytime you want to reach your goals of financial freedom, it will also entail that you take a certain degree of risk. That anytime you want to reach your goals of financial freedom, you can't just focus on playing it safe. At any point in time, those that really excelled financially, they took risks. I would never be doing what I'm doing right now if I did not start investing in balanced funds. I really believe that balanced funds are a very, very good starter investment for those that want to venture in the world of the capital markets. Or it can also be a long-term investment, or it can also be a sophisticated investment for those that are really busy. Hey guys, so over the past few weeks, I've been getting questions from all of you asking, when I started out, what were the first investments that I went into? And to be able to discuss that, let me give you also a backstory on what were my biggest influences when I started out. Who I am now, what I'm doing now is a byproduct also of decisions that I made in the past and the things that I've learned. I graduated from college 2005, and that's when I got exposed to the real world. That's when I got exposed that, hey, I really need to take control of my financial future. So from 2005 when I graduated, 2006 when I took the board exam, and 2006 when I started to work, to where we are now, my philosophies have evolved, my strategies also have evolved, my ideologies in terms of saving and investing also have evolved. When I started out, my big goal really was just to be a very, very good employee. I wanted to become a manager. This is something na tinuro sa atin as Filipinos. Mag-aral na mabuti so that you get to go into a multinational company, so that you get to have a good job with good benefits. Yun yung plan ko before, no, that also when I start earning, hopefully the company sponsors my MBA so that I have a master's degree, or I save up on my own so that I get better credentials also, and I get accelerated and my career gets fast-tracked as I start to progress. But in my first job, I got exposed to a lot of people who love reading books. And it was such an honor, no, that the first people that I got surrounded with were not just into reading books, but they were reading a lot of financial literacy content. And the first books that I've read were Robert Kiyosaki's books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. And at that time, there were a lot of books by Filipino authors like Larry Gamboa and also Francisco Colaiko, which I also read at that particular time. And that being said, if there was a generic theme between all of them, was number one, Robert Kiyosaki focused on trying to earn more, but not just that, trying to build on assets. So when I was starting out, I was thinking, okay, what business could I actually start? What are the side hustles that I could actually do in order for me to be able to save, in order for me to be able to earn more, and in order for me to be able to build those assets? Then as I started to learn also from Francisco Colaiko also about saving, I think there was a portion there, I can't remember if it's correct because it's been more than 15 years already, but he also specifically talked about funds and mutual funds. So it was quite contradicting in a way that Robert Kiyosaki wasn't really a big supporter of funds, while Francisco Colaiko wanted funds altogether. So when I kick-started everything while I was employed, my main focus was, since the biggest influence still in my life at that time was Robert Kiyosaki, so I started side hustles, I started businesses. And for those who watched my other videos, that I said I started businesses not just for me wanting to earn more from it, as I started to earn more, to see if that business was something that I really, really like. So nangyari was, there were some businesses that did well. However, they weren't really businesses that I saw myself doing for the long term. Since I earned from it and I didn't want to do it again though, I had some cash. So a year after, that's what forced me that might as well invest it, might as well put this money to the ground already and build something that's connected to Robert Kiyosaki's I quadrant. So please do remember, Robert Kiyosaki would always talk about 4 types of income in his cash flow quadrant. One is from employment, second is from the self-employment quadrant, third is from businesses, and then fourth is the investor quadrant. So sabi ko, sige, maybe it's time to transition into the investor quadrant, because I really didn't plan to do that yet. I was thinking about, I'll be in the investor quadrant later on in life, when I'm older, when I have a business already that's really, really doing well. But the cash was there, I was employed, I didn't know what to do with it yet. So I started to invest, and first thing that I got into was managed funds. If I remember it properly, it was a balanced fund. that had exposure to the stock market and had exposure also to the bond market. So looking at it from hindsight now, if you'd ask me, I would have just purely gone the equity route than going into a balanced fund. But it was a good entry-level investment for me in a way that I'm sure you had this feeling also nung start nyo palang mag-invest, nakakaba. And even though hindi naman ganun kalaki palalagay nyo when you're starting out, syempre the older you get, the more savings you have, the more you could actually invest, and the higher your salary is. Pero when you're starting out, your salary naman is not that big, or we were so scared at that time kasi yung context ng Filipino, pag hindi siya guaranteed, pwede siya mawala. Pag hindi siya PDI and skin sure, hindi siya mawala. And that's what I want to bust to all of you. A lot of people would always say that hindi guaranteed yan eh, doon ka na sa bangko para safe eh. Pero please remember this, that anytime you want to reach your goals of financial freedom, it will also entail that you take a certain degree of risk. That anytime you want to reach your goals of financial freedom, you can't just focus on playing it safe. At any point in time, those that really excelled financially, they took risks eh. Meaning, there might be business people that are not into the stock market, that are not into crypto, that are not into Forex. However, they're business people. When you enter and start your own business, you have a great degree of risk already there. And that's why maybe they don't want to invest into something that's riskier than their business, which is perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, you will need to take some risk. At that time, inaral ko, bond stocks, bond stocks. Bonds seem like something that's very, very safe. And all I knew back then was, okay, when the stock market is down, the bond market will do better. And when the stock market is doing better, the bond market won't be doing well. I had that feeling that, okay, if I enter the balanced fund market, okay, to best of both worlds, because it gives the fund managers the ability to be able to decide, okay, the stock market is not as good, transfer tayo to bonds. Okay, the stock market is better, lahat na nasa bonds, lipat natin. And I was thinking about that, 22 years old pa lang yata ako, 23 years old pa lang yata ako. So I didn't know much back then as compared to what I knew now. But what I wanted to share to you was, I took the jump. I started. This just continues to magnify or amplify whatever I said in the previous videos, that your greatest asset is time eh. And starting early, putting that amount in managed funds, putting that amount in balanced funds, made my feet wet eh. It made me realize that, teka, mukhang masaya to ah. And it made me research more about equities. It made me research more about bonds. And in the same way, I already had skin in the game without really picking and timing and selecting and picking my stocks just by myself. But I already was curious about it, and that gave me the nudge to invest in the stock market. By the way, when I say managed funds, it could be either through UITFs, it could be via mutual funds, or it also could be via VUL, because they have also an equity balance and a bond fund component there. So either of the three will work as some sort of area for you to be able to put your investments in. So do I suggest that to all of you? What works for me may not work for you. And yung advantage, I think ngayon, there's a lot of financial literacy going on, that there's more options for Filipinos also to decide on what's right and how they could actually invest, and access to investments right now from Philippine stocks, even bonds. Kasi please do remember, Premio bonds, sobrang liit din ng minimum ng Premio bonds. MP2, sobrang liit din ng minimum na MP2. US stocks, $1. Check it out below. Go trade. You can invest in US stocks for $1. Cryptocurrencies, $10 lang for you to be able to invest on cryptocurrencies. So it doesn't take a lot of money. But at that time, those were the options that I had. So that's why I started. Yung advantage nung nagsisimula ngayon is you have more options right now in 2021 on where you could actually invest. And then the fees are also lesser. Unlike when I started out, there really wasn't much compared to where we are now. And please do remember, 2005, 2006, wala pa mga apps nun. There wasn't an iPhone yet where you could build apps that's connected to the internet, where you could check out your investments. We had to log in through our laptops or through our desktops at that time for us to be able to get access on our investments. And the concept of checking it online wasn't really there as much eh. We really had to wait for statements, or you had to go through the website of kung saan ka nag-invest to be able to check it. When I invested in balanced funds at that time, is that something I regret today? The answer to that is no. I would never be doing what I'm doing right now if I did not start investing in balanced funds. I really believe that balanced funds are a very, very good starter investment for those that want to venture in the world of the capital markets. Or it can also be a long-term investment, or it can also be a sophisticated investment for those that are really busy, for those that don't want to decide on what stocks they're supposed to buy, for those who don't want to decide, do I enter the bond market? How do I analyze this? If you are not that type of person and you have other things that you're currently doing, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person, you're a very, very creative person, investing really is something that will supplement or will complement what you're doing, then I think balanced funds, equity funds are okay. It doesn't require a lot of money to start, and you can try different companies, you can try different brands, you can try different funds with the goal of you having exposure. And I think the most important thing above all of this is simulan nyo na. If I was starting also right now, gagawin ko, I would try to open 5 companies, mutual fund companies, UITFs, or even VULs, and then try them one by one and to see what will work out for me. Because you never know eh. I guess it's time that we transition from that we're not just headline readers, we're not just people basing it on other people's opinions, but we're actually doers and trying it. As I started investing in it, please do remember that the power is in the top up. The more you put into your position, the larger it will be. Kasi I would always get questions that, okay lang ba maglagay ako ng 50 pesos tapos di ko na kailangan dagdagan yun? Oo, okay lang naman. That's a good start. Pero 50 pesos is not something that's life-changing. It's not something that will allow you to retire off. That's more of, in my opinion, having a jackpot mentality that, okay, naglagay ako ng 50 pesos, hopefully after 30 years magiging 1 million siya. It's not like that eh. The name of the game will always be volume. And I know baka nagsasawa na kayo na sinasabi ko yun, pero let this be a reminder for all of you that the best time to actually put in is pag tinatamad kayo eh. That the best time to actually put in is when you don't feel like investing, is when you don't feel like adding some more, is when you don't feel like, okay, I want to add and top up more. And I guess that's what made it so interesting about managed funds, about mutual funds, about UITFs, about VULs. It teaches you the discipline to put in a regular amount on a regular basis. It gives you the discipline that even if you don't feel like it, your goal to be financially free is more important than spending. And that's why I forced myself to continually add. That's my first investment, and it's something that I'll never regret because that's what led me also to the other investments that I have right now. And if you're asking, do I still have that investment? Yes, I do. I have not sold it. I have not closed it. It's still right there. And it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. I hope you guys got a lot from this, and I hope that this is something that's insightful. This is me pushing you, nudging you to start investing right here, right now, to start taking the time to learn more about it, because the more you learn about it, the better you will become over the long term. The more you learn about it, the skills will be there, and you will make the right decisions until you find your ultimate sweet spot on what investment will fit you the most. I guess that's the goal, that's the heart of this, that we get to teach you guys at the prime of your years, earning, but not just earning, learning, and putting that capital into good use. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Marvin Gurmo. I'm a stock market trader and investor. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, subscribe, and smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing. And if you'd like to invest in US stocks, check it out below. Go trade $1 Binance for cryptocurrencies. You get to trade for $10 and Forex markets XM. What's so interesting about them is when you sign up, they give you $30 bonus as a seed money that you could actually start when you enter the markets to trade Forex. If you want to learn more, by the way, about the stock market, I have links below to a live seminar course that's happening in August here in BGC. So it will be fundamental analysis, how to pick, select, and get into good companies that are built to last. And for those who want to trade the markets naman and want to do technical analysis, we have a session coming this October. Links are in the description below. The technical analysis course will be via Zoom. And for those who want to learn via reading, we have books that are available in National Bookstore, Shopee, and Lazada. Links are in the description below. So I guess that's it for now. This is Marvin Gurmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.